inside me, son of a god. I'm like a titan that's rising, oh just you watch. I'm stepping into fate, there is no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me, this is how legends are made. Up on the throttle, victory is mine. Show you the harder the battle, harder I fight. I've come too far to quit. Step back, I'm going in. I'm cranking up on the throttle. This is how legends are made. Like iron from the fire, getting stronger. This is how legends are made. Above it all, untouchable, a new animal. This is how legends are made.
Hey guys, welcome to Friday Night Front Stretch, brought to you by Hobbytown in Lincoln, Nebraska. They are our corporate sponsors for the 2026. If you guys are looking for cars, parts, radios, get hold of Hobbytown and the boys in Lincoln, Nebraska. Welcome, guys. This is our first show, kind of doing it solo. Hopefully, we get Chuck Brindley on and as our co-host. Say howdy, get on the chats, let me know who's out there. We got 4 people watching at the moment. Looks like 2 on my YouTube channel and 2 on the Facebook page. Having it tonight because Sunday we have our open house. It's a free event. Trying to hopefully work through any bugs that at least here at the track, and then hopefully you guys can get some practice time in before the season starts. Been working hard getting the track in. It's amazing how much stuff that has happened over the winter that I wasn't expecting. I want to thank Chuck Burnley and some of the guys that came out. Chuck loaned me his sprayer. We've got the back wall sprayed, replaced. We sprayed in turns 3 and 4, but just haven't got around going into 1 and 2. The weather just is either too windy or things are just going on and I'm just running out of time. Also, we are trying to get the scoring program working in the shed, and that was a trip this afternoon. Not only the computer wasn't working, but Lifetime wasn't accepting my computer, and I was getting pretty frustrated, say the least, to at least try to get the program up and running so you guys had some practice lap times. And then on top of everything else, sitting there, I was noticing as I was uploading a new program, I was watching my light tower in the middle of the track, and it sways. I mean, it's been pretty damn windy out here, and it's been swaying back and forth, but it was swaying back and forth and up and down. And so as I was waiting for the program to load, I went out there and the bolts are backing off in the ground. So I had to try to tighten them up. But I don't want to tighten them too hard, because I just don't know how good that concrete has held. Those lights has been in for, oh man, 10 or 12 years now. So we'll see, but it's okay. Lights are working. The track looks fantastic. So I think we'll have a good, smooth practice session. I can't guarantee the moisture in it for Sunday, especially if it's windy and the sun shining on it. We just have not had a lot of snow or rain out here. We've had a lot of open fires, especially in the western Nebraska. Been super, super dry. Matter of fact, I'm out watering the yard right now, just trying to get some moisture into the new grass seed I put down. So the track will probably soak it up pretty quickly. And again, I'm hoping the water truck will start. I did. I put the new motor. I put a motor in it and then worked on the carburetor a little bit because it was starting to kind of fail last summer. Hope all that works. It just things happen, and I'm just kind of running out of time. And of course, old age is not helping me any. I can't seem to have the stamina that I had when I was younger. But so anyway, guys, if you're new to the program, we've got a lot of brand new guys coming out this year. And a little bit about this. I started doing Friday Night Front Stretch, oh gosh, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, just to do an informative uh, shout out or get together. I don't have to have long drawn out drivers meetings and stuff. And then we had a co-host, Don Liskey, came on, and he co-hosted for us for a while. And then, of course, Chuck Brindley came on, and we had a lot of fantastic guests over the years. Matter of fact, we even went into Australia to interview those guys. This track was born in 2012 as a large-scale track. We introduced the fifth scale modifieds, late models, and sprint cars, and then the quarter scales made its debut out here. Oh, I don't know, 2018, 2019, when we held our first quarter scale nationals. Last year, the 10 scale program started to, oh, sorry, fire back up, and we started introducing the Traxxas Modified, the late models, the low Cs, and of course the Mud Bosses. And we've been running Mud Bosses, the Ironman, for the last 3 years. And 10 scale just kind of took over. We're hopefully we'll see some fifth scales back this summer. It sounds like we're going to have a few. The quarter scale Dirt Nationals will be held again out here. It's a 4 day event, August, I believe, around the 12th. We'll start Wednesday and end on Saturday night. More likely, we'll have the 10 scale sprint cars maybe come out and do a show with us on Saturday night. So we got plans there. We've got a lot of brand new drivers showing up. A lot of interesting calls and stuff. Guys that never raced out here are hot cars in Hobbytown. They're going to be coming out, and so hopefully we had a fantastic season last year. We had a lot of cars came out, so we're looking forward to a good 2026 season. We got two new classes. Nothing's really changed as far as the overall format. We do have a couple new classes this year. We're going to introduce. One is the novice class, and the novice is basically kind of bring what you brung kind of thing. It's for kids who maybe has a Radio Shack car or has maybe a truck or something like that. And it's really designed for the younger kids to come out and have a good time and race and be part of the event. We also have the 12T class. It's a Mud Boss class. This class is strictly stock slash with a brush motor. It's called motor brush. You can't cut the springs and do a lot of things you can with the advanced class and the Mud Boss. So we're looking forward to have those two new classes coming out. Now, I will tell you guys up front, and this has been kind of a problem. Some guys, we might end up having a breakout time established between these two classes. The idea is we just don't want somebody to come in who's super fast and take away from the rest of the people who are learning and things like that. So the time's not set. The time can be modified throughout the summer. Um, and if you do run the novice and the beginner class, um, you have to stay in those two classes. You can't advance outside of those. So make sure when you sign up that you know that if you start in the beginner class, you cannot go into a 12T class or a late model or a modified or a low C. So those are the two new classes. We're still going to have the late models, the Traxxas modified, um, the low C sprint cars. There is rumor about having a 10 scale open class. Now, I'm not really sure exactly what open means and what classes they're going to run. We have a couple of guys are going to experiment with it tomorrow or Sunday. Maybe open gears, maybe different springs changes. Just allow them to kind of open up the rule a little bit. And if we get enough cars, and of course I've always said three makes a class, we'll introduce the open class. I'm not really sure if it's going to be a low speed sprint car, modified, late model, or maybe a mud boss. But there is guys going to come out and experiment with that. In the meantime, let's look at the chats real quick. 12R Prince, see you Sunday. 12R Prince, that's the rink. And I know I'm going to get you guys confused. It's Shannon and Sean Rink. They do a lot of printing for the 10 scale market along with the quarter scale. Chris Culler, hey, what's up, Mike? Yep. Guys, if you missed it last night, we do have another show called the Quarter Scale Today with Todd Holloway, and we introduced we had a great show last night with the guys out west in Washington. And so, guys, tune in for that. Otherwise, we're still going to do Friday Night Front Stretch. Chuck Burnley, I saw Dan from Hobbytown last evening. He's excited to be sponsored again this year. Fantastic. We always look forward to having Hobbytown jump on board. This year, we're going to give away again gift certificates. This time, we're going to double up on them. Instead of just giving one $10 away, we'll give two $10 away. So everybody has an opportunity. Of course, last year it seemed like Joe Fritz won most of them. So, so we're going to plan on doing that for this year. Format race changes have not changed. We're still do our practice lap. We'll have practice about 5:30, and then just kind of gradually work into racing by 7. We're going to try to do it a little bit quicker, especially with the added 2 classes, so we can get done by 10 o'clock, maybe 10:30. Especially if we get the fifth scale guys to come out, they'll take a little bit of time also. Um, we'll probably end up running the beginner, the novice, and the mud boss classes first. Then we'll blow the track off. We found that blowing the track off prior to the low season, the Traxxas cars, that they ran a lot better traction. I don't want to spend all night blowing the track off for each class, so we'll probably incorporate the aggressive tire class prior to the Mud Boss. We have a lot of new champions last year. Now it's going to be interesting because last year we kind of muddled through this class of cars. I didn't know what to expect. Again, this is a large scale track, so I'm just used to that. But we kind of muddled through the rules. Um, Zach Osborne was our tech guy last year. Hopefully, he'll be back out again. I do have some tech equipment that there are go no go gauges for at least for gears for the Traxxas modified late models and the Losis. So we can check the gear ratio pretty quickly. The idea, and there's a lot of tracks that you can go to if you want a dedicated car, like a dedicated late model, 410 sprint car, 305 sprint car, 360 sprint car. But here, this track, I like the stock stuff. I like to be able to get a guy come in, buy a car, and race without spending a great deal of money. And then if he decides that, you know what, gosh darn, I'm having a lot of fun, but I want to go faster. You got tracks like Hobbytown or Hobbyplex, Jensen Speedway on during the winter months, and then Grand Island in the summer. And of course, there's tracks in Iowa, Adele, and Layton and stuff. We are still staying with stock. However, if somebody wants to bring a dedicated car out to try it, we're more than happy to have you guys come out. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about putting my short course modified back on the track again, just to see it. They're bigger than the Traxxas modified, and just see kind of where we're at with that class. It's a bigger car. I really like the short course cars. Just don't hear too many people running them at many tracks. I don't know if the interest has gone away, or I'm assuming people still have their cars in the garage. So we're still waiting on one track, Hackberry, Jeff Davis. He came out and helped me install the walls, and I want to thank Reed Priest. Oh gosh, I can't think of everybody that showed up, so I'm not going to try to burger some names up. But Reed Priest was out. But anyway, Jeff Davis came out and I asked him about his track runner up. He said, "Yeah." He says, "I'm still interested in doing it. I just want to make sure I got somebody to help out for." So, guys, if you're interested in helping Jeff Davis and Hackberry, that track's been out there for a long, long time. They put on some really good shows. I've raced there. I don't think I've ever raced there personally. I've kind of practiced out there with Jeff and stuff like that. So I'm kind of anxious to get my late model out there, my 725 late model, and try it on his track. So yeah, but this is a kind of a closed type rule book. We've got a rule book that's pretty stock. Now in the Traxxas modified and late models, you can put a fan in them. And the reason we're allowing fans is we didn't know for sure how much heat these motors will build, these ESCs will build up on this big of a track. And so right away we thought, well, let's just go ahead and put a fan in it right away. And the motor doesn't seem to generate a lot of heat. I think it's because the track is so big and you're getting so much air movement that it keeps the motors cool. The low C sprint cars, we are putting a fan on the motor, and you're allowed to run associated ball cups to replace the stock ones. Apparently, the stock ones keep popping off pretty easy, and I saw that last year a lot from the low C sprint cars. The Mud Boss class, the advanced beginner, and the 12T class. It's very simple. Go to Selvus Mud Boss, and they've got the rules. We are only allowed gear ratio at 2386. So everybody's on the same gear. And I can't remember if the Traxxas I think it's still a 2386 and then late model and Traxxas. And of course, this low C has a different gear ratio too. But we're only allowing one gear ratio, but you can change shock oils and clean out your transmissions and no ceramic bearings and things like that. So, because we want to keep the pocketbook away from these cars. Um, let's see, Rob Jensen came on. He's from Jensen up there at Speedway. If I have any Insco questions, give me a call. So, yep, called Rob. He finished his season out for the winter and sounded like he had a really good season out there. We had last year. I sat down and I figured out what the fastest laps were turned. Again, we kind of muddled through it last year, so this year we got something to shoot at. Usually, I take the fastest laps in the feature because if you're by yourself, you can get a hero lap really quick. So Dana Popstillo has in the low C sprint car the track record of 8.378. Now, a lot of tracks are running 5 seconds and 4 seconds and stuff like that. But you got to remember, this track is 360 feet in the middle, and so it's a bigger track. So it's going to take 8 seconds to get around. If you look at the overall 10 scale or quarter scales, the fastest lap turn in the quarter scale was 7 seconds. And those cars are 30 pounds and with 23 horsepower or 23 cc motor. The overall fastest lap was held by Brandon Stevens with an 6.7 something and change with his late model. So that's pretty quick. So, but these and again on the stock gear ratio, you can only get so much speed out of them. In the beginner class, Nick Bryan had an 8:55.7. One of the questions was, why was a beginner class faster than the late models and modifieds? And I think a lot of it has to do not with the gear ratio, but a lot of it has to do with the tires. The tires are a little more aggressive than the late model modifieds, but he's got the record of 8.557. Zach Osborne, 8.204. That's pretty quick. He broke that at the Mud Boss. And we had great car count at the Ironman 100 in October. Unfortunately, we had rain came in and kind of washed out the late model class. So, but he broke that in the advanced Mud Boss class. In the Traxxas late model, Sean Rink had the 8.655, and then Shannon with an 8.659 in the modified. So those two cars were really close between the modified and late model. So this is something I'm going to hang in the scoring shed, and hopefully we can announce. Hopefully we'll see our track record broke for this coming year. Let's see, Rob, back on here. It says here we had our big race battle of barn, 182 entries, and 83 drivers. That's a lot of cars, man. I get half, not even half that. But within the summertime, it's hard because there's so many outdoor tracks running. You're competing against a lot of things. You're competing against Grand Island. You're competing against Hackberry runs. You're competing against Adele, Layton. And then on top of you're competing against that, then you're competing against people on vacation, baseball, whatever activities are going on in the month. So a lot of the outdoor tracks, we're all competing against each other. We're all trying to bring in car count one way or another. So, and this being not a dedicated track, we're kind of maybe in the backyard when it comes to competing against a dedicated 10 scale track. But we are seeing an increased car count just from the phone calls and the new people asking questions. Sean Rink says we had some eight flats in mud boss class during the Ironman during some of the heats, but I know we had some scoring problems for uploading to live RC. Well, there was really no scoring problem. The problem that I had is I don't have very good internet out out that far from the house. I can't get a good single because I'm with Starlink, and so I've got to hotspot off my phone. And what happened, announced to me, was my phone died. I mean, I didn't have any battery left. I'd never paid attention until because it was so much going on that I just lost phone. And when you lose phone and you lose the internet, you can't get the program to score properly. So, as far as getting online and watching everything. Also, be aware that we have an FM transmitter, so tune in. I think it's 87.5. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But so if you happen to have an FM station near you, or your car, your truck, or maybe even a radio, you can listen to me announce and calling up classes, and I think that'll help moving the show quite rapidly and forward and stuff. So hopefully the FM transmitter will work. Worked really well during the quarter scale nationals because the cars are so loud. It's kind of hard to hear announcements coming up when you're up next and stuff. The idea is to try to kind of roll the program as quickly as possible so everybody can get out at a decent time. Let's see, Sean Rink, looking forward to getting out there Sunday again to run some laps. Yep, this is a free event. I can't guarantee anything as far as if the program is working. I struggled. I struggled trying to get if it wasn't the computer, it was the lifetime program. And I was really frustrated. I was to the point where I thought, you know what, screw it. I just sent this computer in and thinking that I spent $600 on this computer to get it all cleaned out and ready to go for the season. And it was worse than what I was when I should never send it in. What I should have done, took that $600 and invested in another computer and call it good, because I don't know about you guys, and maybe I'm on my soapbox, but every time I send a computer into a professional, it comes back screwed up more than it was when I put it in. So, but it is what it is. I spent the money. And so, Scott Rance, one of the quarter scale guys. Hey, Mike, how you doing, Scott? Hope you turned into a quarter scale today with me and Todd Holloway last night. Rob Jensen, remind folks transponders should not be mounted on top of the servo. Yeah, that was something. That was something that we had problems with the fifth scale for the longest time. And two things that happens with transponders, and I learned quite a bit years ago and then Lifetime informed me that you want the transponders away from any electronics, like the servo, get it out front more, get it down, point to the ground. I know quarter scales and fifth scales are real bad with a lot of aluminum, and a lot of guys will mount them on their shock tower, or they'll mount them somewhere, and then they'll have a scoring issue out of the blue. The other thing too is make sure your batteries are good. You'd be surprised how much juice these little transponders take. And fortunately, with Lifetime, if we have a transponder issue, I can go back and look at your battery voltage in some cases and say, you know what, you're not running very much battery voltage, even though your servos are working, and things like that, especially in the fifth scale mark and quarter scale. So that was something that a guy can look into. So yeah, mount your transponders away from anything that has electrical. Otherwise, I'm not saying it's going to give you problems, but it could give you problems. Jeff Davis, Hackberry, says, thanks, Mike. We still haven't had any luck finding someone to help with scoring. So it will depend on that. Okay. Yep. I'm still watching for your schedule coming out. So hopefully you'll get out there and find somebody to help you do it. Otherwise, guys, I'm just kind of struggling getting things done. Weather turned awful cold out there. The wind went from the south to the north, and it got cold. And of course, when I get cold, I get frustrated easy. And like I said, the scoring program in the computer really frustrated me. And then I couldn't get the damn printer to turn on, and then it recognized the computer. So um, I had everything. And I finally just say, screw it. I'll work on it tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. But again, guys, hope you guys can come out this summer. I have a good time. Um, I'm looking forward to a good racing. I know the Fiskales guys are coming back. Again, we have the Nationals in August, and hopefully, I think if I look at their long range forecast, it looks like it's going to be in the 60s for our first official race in May, and sunny. So hopefully, just bring a sweatshirt in the evening and stuff like that. So if there's some new guys coming out, I can't run down through every little procedure we have because again, we're a lot different than your typical 10 scale track. What we do is we'll have marshals, of course, but I can't have marshals running all over that track because it's just so big. And I don't want somebody to slip and fall. And so what we do is as soon as there's a wreck or if there's a car off the track, we call a yellow and everybody stops, or a red, everybody stops where you're at. Marshal, retrieve your car, put it back on the track where you spun out. And then I'll have what you call a rolling start, which gives you about 5 feet, and then we'll go green. And the reason I do rolling starts is this way you just can't hit the throttle and you spin out really quickly. So by giving momentum forward on the rear wheels, it allows your car not to spin out right away. So we're just a little bit different in that procedure just because the track, this is not a 10 scale track, guys. This is actually a large scale track. But I have seen last year, I have seen some fantastic racing, especially in the Ironman, where guys are 3, 4 wide coming out of the corners, not touching nobody. We had cars coming across the line that I had no clue who won until I looked at the scoring program. Um, we had such good racing with these 10 scales that it's very, very impressive. Usually you get into a large scale or a fifth scale program or a quarter scale. Usually the fastest guys are gone, right? They're way out there. But the 10 scale market, because of the stock class, they're so even. And I was so impressed watching some of these cars that just, now we still got a problem of taking a start on the green coming out of 4 and everybody wrecking going into turn 1. There's a lot of racing. There's a lot of racing. So to do. So so we'll probably go that route. Again, like we did last year, but help the new people. That's the big thing is if somebody is struggling with handling, because this track is not your typical 10 scale track. This track requires being smooth. This track requires because the track will change. You'll get ruts and stuff and they'll bounce a little bit. But help somebody out. If somebody's struggling, it's better to help somebody out a little bit at least. So you're not reckoning in them if they can't figure their cars out. So, and then work with them on the driver's stand, say, hey, we're under a yellow, don't move your car. When you stage in the pit lane, I don't allow anybody to come out. Because the reason I do that is I don't want anybody with unfair practice time where they can go out and run 2-3 laps, come in and make an adjustment real quick. This way, everybody is staged in the practice line. We'll bring them out. We'll let you get a couple laps, and then we'll stage you guys in the backstretch like we did last year. The race is considered started when the last car comes out of turn 2, and that's when the race is considered a non-restart. If everybody crashes going into 1 and 2, yeah, we're going to have a complete restart. So, marshals are still mandatory. Guys, if you finish in the top two in the heat race, you're automatically going to marshal, not unless you are in that next class. And then find somebody to fill in for you. Don't let me and Kim try to figure out and yelling for marshals. The features, usually we take the top three because, we start 10 in a feature. So that's quite a bit of cars. We've started actually up to 15, and well, that one year in the Mud Boss, we started 28 in one one feature. So, and that was kind of a mistake on our part. But anyway, guys, I don't have anything else to talk about. If you guys get on, this will be tape delayed anyway. So our open house is this Sunday from noon to 3. If everybody's still having a good time and guys come out, we might go to 4 or so, but I don't want to go any later than that. And again, guys, I can't guarantee what the track will be because the track is so dry. And I got cracks out there. Oh gosh, I don't know about that wide. And so I'm going to water it pretty good. But again, it's either going to be really muddy, at the start and trying to roll it in. And when I roll it in, it's going to get lumps and stuff from the truck because we just haven't had anything to settle it down. No, we didn't have hardly any snow. Richard Fellman, he's a new driver this year. If you start the race as single file, last person in the feature might be half a lap behind. How is that scored correctly? Technically, the last guy could finish a half a lap behind and still be first place. Oh, it could. Yeah. I mean, because these cars are so equal. If you're in the back. Now, I'm going to tell you, there's guys, and I started in the back, and I worked my way forward and finished second or third, because there is yellows that come out. And yeah, so, with the track being so big, you don't want to spin out. You want somebody else to spin out. That's how you probably gain position. I know throughout the night, at least for me personally, I can move around a little bit and pick up some speed just by moving my line a little bit. Plus, when you get into lap traffic, things slow down so you can get caught up that way. So yeah, the last guy finishing a half a lap behind and still be equivalent to the first place guy. You're absolutely right. That's what makes this thing kind of fun, I guess, is, you just want to be smooth. You want your car to run good. So there's no other way of going around it. We tried to do a yellow start where we put the guys in the back. That caused us some grief because some guys will not man up and say, yeah, it's my fault. And then I had to, put people in the back, and then they get upset because it's not my fault. I had to go to the back. So we just decided to make it simple. Just say, look, if you spin out, we'll put you back where you're at, and go from there. So now the fifth scale guys, we do a little bit different. We do throw people into the rear and do a rolling restart. But we'll line up. If the yellow does come out, we'll just stop where you're at. Marshals will throw you back out where you were. And then we'll do a rolling start and then give you about 5 feet, 6 feet of rolling start. Not fast, but rolling start just to get the momentum going on your rear tires. And then we'll let you guys go racing and finish out. Heat races will be 15 laps, features 30. The novice and the beginner class will be 15 and 20. So, I'll be really curious about points. Last year we really never started running these cars until about June or July. So now we got a full season. So I'm curious about our new champions for this year. And actually the ones, and they'll deserve to be a champion because now you're going to get 9 races instead of maybe 6 or 7 that we started out last year. So any other questions, guys, before I sign off? I can't think of anything else. Like I said, the track looks fantastic. It's just that it's so soft and got cracks in it. And it just takes a lot of work to, and it's like this every spring, where you got a virgin track from all winter and it gets fluffy and I try to roll it in with my truck and stuff, but I don't want to get it too rolled in where it gets lumpy and bumpy and stuff. So, guys, I don't have anything else. I appreciate everybody coming on. Again, open house this Sunday, noon to 3, and then we'll start our first race is in May 2nd. Gates open at 3, probably hot laps around 5 for about an hour. Guys go out and practice. And then I have to go out, probably water the track, and then we'll start racing around 7 after the national anthem. We'll start doing the national anthem. Entry fees the same from last year, $15 per car. We're not increasing the entry fee or anything. Probably trophy races. If we have any trophy races, it'll probably be about $20 a car, just because of the trophies. And that's one thing that's got expensive is trophies. Holy moly. Hopefully the gas prices doesn't scare anybody away this year. But hopefully we'll get that taken care of. Again, if join us for quarter scale today. Learn a little bit about large scale racing across the country with my buddy Todd Holloway. And hopefully we get Chuck Burnley on in next Friday, or on 2 Fridays before our first race of the year. So thank you guys for coming on, and we are signing off. We'll see you next time.